The views expressed in this program do not necessarily reflect those of this station.
Welcome to Insights into Northeast Michigan, a WBKB News public affairs program. Insights deals with the issues affecting those in the community as well as Northeast Michigan and the state. And now, Insights into Northeast Michigan.
Welcome to Insights. I'm Sherry Stewart. For this episode, we're joined by Patrick Harity with the Community Foundation of Northeast Michigan. Thank you for joining me today.
Good morning. Pleasure to be with you.
And so we know, Patrick, when it comes to higher education and moving in their careers for young people, especially, one of the major barriers is actually paying for higher education. And so I know the Community Foundation offers a wonderful scholarship opportunity for current and former students for our schools here. So let's talk about all that today.
Yeah, absolutely. Exciting time at the Community Foundation with scholarship season. We serve 9 counties in Northeast Michigan. That includes 19 high schools.
That's a lot of kids.
You bet it is. Yeah, you bet it is. And so it's scholarship season.
Yeah.
We have an online application process for our scholarships. That went live on January 1.
Okay.
And that'll be open through March 1.
Okay.
So anyone that is going to be going to college or a trade school or certificate program in the fall of 2020, this is the time to apply.
Okay. And let's unpack a little bit of that, because that's a lot of opportunity there. So if they're going to college, a trade school, so those are some really great opportunities for youth to get some funding to support that.
Absolutely. I think one of the biggest misconceptions that I've heard as I've gone around the service area and talked to parents and to students is that they think that the scholarship opportunities are only for the top 1% of the class or for those high achieving students. And while we certainly have scholarships for those individuals, really our scholarship funds are individual to the donor that set them up and what their passion is or what their criteria is. So some of the scholarships are for students that have a 2.5 to a 3.5. Some of the scholarships might be university specific, or it may be field specific. It could be a career or technical training or certificate. There are lots of opportunities within the 160 different unique scholarship funds that we have at the Community Foundation. So I would encourage everyone that's going to be attending school and needing to help find a piece to that puzzle of paying for it, to look to the Community Foundation as a possibility.
Right, not to miss this opportunity, because it's an important piece of it.
You bet it is.
Absolutely.
You bet it is. Yeah.
So this is a major program of the foundation. So you've been doing this for years, these scholarship opportunities.
Yeah, so Community Foundation for Northeast Michigan started in 1974. And we have 3 affiliate foundations that kind of roll up under us. We're the legal and the administrative arm for all of the 3 affiliate community foundations. So we've been in this since 1974. New scholarship funds are added each year.
Oh, that's excellent.
Absolutely. Helping kids with education and post-secondary education is something that our donors really connect to. They see the needs in their communities. So we have new scholarship funds that are coming each year. One of the great things about the program currently at the foundation is that it's an online application.
That is great.
Yeah, yeah, because what it allows for is if a student comes in and completes that application process, when they're done with that, it will tell them every scholarship at the Community Foundation that they're eligible for.
Oh, excellent.
So it's kind of a one-stop to do the application and then to have a variety of possible funding opportunities or scholarship opportunities.
That's excellent. So you have a long history of doing these, providing these scholarship opportunities.
Yeah.
Looks like the pool of monies expands every year because new donors are coming on.
Yep,
Okay.
yep. And the way community foundations work, these funds are endowed funds, which means they'll exist forever in perpetuity. And the part of the way that they're managed is they're invested. And the investment strategy is for these funds to grow over time just through being in the market.
Excellent. So I know you have some success stories with our young people taking advantage of this scholarship opportunity. Any stories you can share with that?
They're varied. We had a scholarship event this past June. We brought in 3 different students that had been through the program and received scholarships. Each of them are unique to that individual. One of the students talked about receiving a scholarship for $500 that allowed them to get a laptop computer.
Excellent. I love those type stories.
And it just changed their
Yeah.
whole trajectory. We also had a student that came that has received a multi-year scholarship.
Excellent.
And so she has gotten a scholarship through a fund, the Michael Wentworth Scholarship Fund, and has received funding for 4 years. She will graduate debt-free with a degree.
I love it.
Yeah,
You guys
yeah.
are doing such wonderful work. Now, you've given over almost, what, $500,000 with these scholarships, even last year.
Yeah, yep, that's right around where we are. We expect to give right around $500,000 this year. We actually have more than that that's available, but for some of the scholarship funds, the criteria that's set by the donor, because remember, it's all about the donor and
What
what
they're passionate about.
and their intent. We don't always have a student that comes through that school system or that county that meets all of the criteria. So that money will just carry over next
Okay,
year.
got it. Okay.
But we're looking forward to awarding, hopefully, $500,000 or more this year in scholarships in the 9 counties.
Excellent. Now, when will the students be notified that they have actually received the scholarship?
Yeah. So I think the most important thing for scholarship applicants to realize is that as they go through the online process, that scholarship application is not complete until they hit the complete button.
All right. That's the important thing. Make sure you
Yeah.
hit send.
Make sure that it's done.
Right.
I also think it's important for them to know that if they have any questions to reach out to our office.
Sure.
Staff is there. We're happy to help them navigate this process, happy to help parents navigate this process.
Yeah.
So once the scholarships close in March, we then have committees that will ultimately make the selection of who the recipient is. And those committees will start getting together mid-March through May, maybe the end of May.
Okay.
We like to have the scholarship selections completed in time for the award ceremonies in the
Okay.
various schools.
Excellent. Excellent.
So students are typically notified right around that time of graduation, mid-May through mid-June. That's when the notifications are made.
Okay, and that's such a great thing that you also offer, is that you have folks in the office that can help students maneuver the process, because it can be intimidating.
Absolutely.
It can be a little bit intimidating, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah, and there's a lot of energy around figuring that out, and
Yeah.
some nervousness. I mean,
Sure.
let's face it, it's expensive to go to college and
Oh, it
and-
is.
and, trade schools, and so we have staff there that's experienced, that have been through this, and they love to help. They're there to help.
Absolutely. Well, I just want to applaud you, Patrick, and the Community Foundation of Northeast Michigan with all that you're doing, helping students put that little piece of the puzzle together in terms of financing their education. And again, thank you for joining me today. We really appreciate it. And to find out more about the scholarship opportunity or to apply, you can visit them online, the Community Foundation of Northeast Michigan. That website is cfnem.org. And we're going to have more on this episode right after the break. Welcome back to Insights. I'm Sherry Stewart. Joining me for this segment is Colin Hoffmeyer with Michigan Works, the Northeast Consortium. Thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
You know, we've got a lot to talk about. We know that nationally, the economy is running strong. That's what we're told nationally. I believe unemployment is about 3.5%. But for this region, it's a little bit more than that. So let's just talk about what's happening when folks are looking for work in this region. Let's talk about those numbers and what you're doing with Michigan Works.
Yeah, absolutely. So the region we cover, Northeast Michigan, Prosperity Region 3, we're looking at about 4.2%.
Just a little bit higher than the national average, right?
Yeah, just slightly. And there's several causes to that.
Yeah.
We have a unique region in that the retirement age is something that most of our workforce is coming up to right now. So we do need to prepare for that. We are already seeing an exodus of those workers, and we're having less workers entering than what is currently leaving. As well as with any data for our region, seasonality will always skew that
Right.
number slightly.
Yeah.
But at Michigan Works, we're putting focus on backfilling positions, increasing the workforce, skills so that they can backfill some of these positions, as well as focusing on the soft skills of the next generational workforce, because we did identify as that as something that employers are saying are lacking as they transition to a younger workforce.
Now, that's something that I would say my generation, perhaps we hear a lot about soft skills. Can you explain for us what exactly are soft skills, and how does Michigan Works help prospective people looking for work? How do they help them develop those skills and then actually execute them in the workforce?
Absolutely. So soft skills are going to be those personal attributes that you have, just you develop from time, experience on the work site. You know, the common things, the handshake, the social cues, and having conversations. What we've noticed is that it takes the perspective of the employer, so we can properly identify what is lacking and how we can address it. So we do engage our business community often on identifying exactly what are the missing pieces here. At Michigan Works, we do offer free workshops that focus both on soft skills as well as some programs that'll additionally help with those hard skills as well. We are also partnered up with AARP in Alpena, and they offer a great series of programs for those that want to return to the workforce after departing it, which is additional focus on soft skills as well.
Now, when you say departing the workforce, what are you seeing? Are you seeing more millennials looking for work? Are you seeing people in the middle age range looking for work? What are you seeing in terms of people that are actually actively looking for employment?
So it's all across the board. We have seen an influx of what we call gray collar workers.
Gray collar.
Gray collar. So what that it refers to is individuals that have gone and got a four-year degree or a traditional liberal arts degree and have found that there is a large talent pool of people looking for work in their field. And they have since moved over to skilled trades, those blue collar jobs, even though they have that four-year degree, because there is an influx of so many people with those degrees. It's more competitive than in our skilled trades. So we're seeing a lot of that. We're also seeing a lot of people returning to the workforce after retirement, whether it be for additional recreational income or just because the need is so great for that. We are dealing with a current crisis right now of we focused on skilled trades heavily over the last 3 years. And now that pendulum has swung to now we're like teachers. We're having a teaching crisis.
I saw that.
The current school counselor ratio, counselor to students in the state of Michigan, is 700 to 1.
Oh my goodness.
So students have less support systems in the school as far as career advising than they ever have before. And that's something we want to focus on, careers that are in demand, but let's keep it equal. Let's not swing that pendulum, let's try to stop it. So that's what we're working with at Michigan Works alongside our business partners.
So if somebody is interested perhaps in going into teaching to perhaps fill that gap, what would you recommend for them?
Well, there's currently two options, and they're both very exciting. Recently, the state has established an alternative route to education, where if you have a bachelor's degree and you're currently seeking a career in teaching, you don't have to enroll in a whole new program. There's a quick route that you could take. If you have a bachelor's degree, you contact the Michigan Department of Education. You can enroll in an alternative route of education. So it's an 18-month program. You're teaching, rather than the traditional 2.5-year program. As well as I recommend working with your college advisors as early as possible. It's never too soon to start lining things up so that you can complete your program as efficiently and cost effectively as possible.
Excellent, excellent. That's great. 18 months.
18 months, yeah.
Yeah, that saves you some time and some money.
Yeah, a lot of money.
A lot of money, a lot of money. Now tell me, let's talk a little bit about as you approach employers. I know that we're obviously in the digital age. What should people do? Do you recommend a job search online? Do you recommend the traditional, a brick and mortar going in to see? But I know that's difficult nowadays. So what do you recommend?
So it is definitely a unique change we're seeing. Social media is so visible by everybody, and I think if, especially if you're a younger person entering the workforce, be very conscientious of what's on your social media. Absolutely. As an employer ourselves, we do utilize social media as a way of getting a character background check. Certainly if you have those party photos and stuff, just be careful with that. If you have a LinkedIn, I highly recommend staying active on that. Employers are starting to look at LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter as options to recruit because it's cheaper, and they know that a larger recruiting base is founded with social media. So we are seeing a rise of technology playing more of a role in our recruitment. So that would be my best advice, is be conscious about your social media.
Absolutely. And for people that are returning to work, perhaps maybe when they were heavily in the working, that technology was not such a big deal and social media. Do you offer programs or free classes at Michigan Works for them to get acclimated and comfortable using social media or using technology to do their job search?
Yep, absolutely. So at Michigan Works, we understand that this is a drastic change for those who are not born into this new age.
Right.
So we will work with them one-on-one. We'll have one-on-one appointments to take a resume, update it to what 2020 employers are looking
Yeah,
for on
exactly,
there,
yeah.
eliminate some of those things that are less prominent anymore,
Sure.
and also integrate their resume and credentials onto an online platform such as LinkedIn or
Okay.
Indeed.com and some of these other popular sites.
Absolutely. And then talking about popular, let's just hit some of the
Yep.
top jobs for
Absolutely.
that I just pulled this up offline. I know these are not all specific to the region, but some of them are what? Front end engineer. The salary is $105,000 a year. How about that? Java developer, data specialist, product manager, DevOps engineer, data engineer. These are like some of the top job categories, and these salaries are six-figure salaries. So for this region, what are some of the hot jobs in the market?
Yeah, so certainly those would apply to our region as well, not as frequent as other regions, but I do have to give credit to our community school systems of preparing our students. Notice that all of those jobs were computer-based. We're
Exactly.
seeing more and more of that integrated into the school system to prepare
Right.
students, even at the middle school level, and it's very exciting that we're being very proactive with this. We're
Right.
seeing many jobs that are going to be available in the next 10 years aren't even invented yet.
Yeah.
So as kind of frightening as that seems, it really points to technology
Right.
is where we need to be really looking at to prepare students. In our region, some of the unique ones is wood science. We have had some larger engineering wood factories coming to the area, so that is a unique thing that's going to be in demand for the foreseeable future, and as well as our CNC machinist welding. Anything dealing with the trades are always going to be in demand for the foreseeable future.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you, Colin, for stopping in and sharing that great information with us. If you want more information on job search and all of that, you can reach out to Michigan Works, and we'll have more insights when we return. Well, welcome back. Joining me now is Captain Amy Cedarvall with the Salvation Army right here in Alpena. Thank you for joining me, Captain.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
So we know when we think about the Salvation Army annually, we see the Red Kettle campaign as we get ready to kick off the holiday season. And I believe that we pretty much associate that with the Salvation Army, but you guys do a whole lot more.
We do. We do.
You offer a lot of services here in Alpena, and some of them even tied to folks that are looking for work, gainful employment. But we'll talk about that. But first, let's talk about the pantry
Yes.
here that you do. Let's talk about that.
Yes, we're very excited about our pantry here. We are almost entirely funded through donations of whether it be the actual donations of people coming in,
Sure.
or that they bring in. A lot of churches kind of
Yeah.
adopt and do monthly things, but we're able to bring people in. We have what they call a client choice pantry,
Sure.
where this area here that you see, they can come in and based on their family size, they get to pick from the different categories what is going to best serve their needs.
Sure.
So we're able to do that with people once every 3 months, or if there's an emergency. It's if somebody's had a cut in benefits or hours cut, laid off, whatever,
Yeah.
we'll let them come in more often. But we are an emergency pantry, so we're not like a every month
Every month
reliable
type-
thing. But
right.
yeah, every 3 months. No questions asked. I mean, we still have the applications and make sure that they go through the right process and make sure they're eligible, but they can do that without anything else. But if they want it more often or need it more often, really is the issue. We have to have a viable reason.
Right, so you help people through those emergent
Yes.
situations.
Yes.
Absolutely. So let's talk about, are there times of the year that you're busier than others, that you see greater need at certain times of the year?
We're pretty steady. We could definitely tell different things, like if a plant has closed or if hours have been cut, we can
yeah.
definitely see that. We'll
Okay.
get some extra people coming in that we maybe not really see. But primarily, we're pretty steady. We're pretty, we have some of the same people we know we're going to see. And then, we'll have other people who cycle in and out. They come once or twice, just enough to get on their feet again.
Right.
And then they're able to be self-sufficient again. But yeah, it always tends to be pretty similar.
Right. And I know that you love your work. You've been with the Salvation Army for some time.
Yes.
And so how have you seen things change over the years?
Over the years, there's lots of change, and some of that's hard for me to say because we move.
Okay.
And so each area is different. But we've been here in Alpena we're going on 6 years now, and we've seen a lot of change. You know, when we first got here, there was much more need, I guess.
Okay.
We saw a lot more people struggling, a lot more people with unemployment, a lot more people who really just didn't have any real hope.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, we still have people in need. There's
Sure.
always going to be
Always,
people in
yeah,
need,
unfortunately,
unfortunately,
yeah.
yes. But we're seeing a lot more people who are employed. We're dealing with a lot more people who are underemployed right now.
A lot of a lot of underemployment.
But not as much unemployed. Now we're dealing with a lot more who are just underemployed, who are struggling with what they're
and
receiving.
just need that little help to get through the
Exactly.
little gaps sometimes.
Exactly. So
we'll go back to the employment piece because you do a lot of great things, but I believe it's transportation vouchers. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But tell me about some of the other services that we don't actually see
Right.
all the time. That red kettle is just, we see that. But what other things are
Right.
you guys doing?
one of our favorite things that we're really pushing, we have a program called Pathway of Hope.
Okay.
And it's kind of an intense, it's more than just coming in to receive a service or a need. It's coming in, and it's not even, you don't even have to really be a typical client, but you're struggling for some reason.
Okay.
And it's people who are wanting to really work to get out of that problem. They want to be self-sufficient. They want to not have to have these emergency
Sure.
issues pop up. And it's really just kind of working with them to set some goals. It's their goals. They have to, they
Right.
work through them. We're not doing it for them.
Right.
But we're helping get them the services maybe that some other agency would have that we don't,
Sure.
or point them in the right direction, help them maybe find the ultimate underlying reasons that they're
root
having
of the
the
problem,
root of the
perhaps.
problem.
Yeah.
They're underemployed. Well, is it because they don't have a diploma? Is it because they don't have a skill? Is it because they don't have a driver's license? Some of them
Okay.
are easy, some are
Right.
not.
Yeah,
But it's kind of trying to find that underlying problem and work with that person to help them meet those goals and those get it dealt with so that they can ultimately become self-sufficient and not need to rely on help. So that's a program that we have, that we offer, that we, like I said, we're really excited about. We found a big thing is generational poverty. That's something that we've come across, not we as my husband and I, but we as the Salvation Army, we as a society have realized that we're coming into a point where a lot of people are used to receiving help, and that's how they lived, and that's what they know. And
Okay,
now
and
the next
conditioned.
generation,
Yeah.
that's just normal. And so Pathway of Hope is our goal to kind of, we do families, so we really focus on people with children in the home,
Sure.
so that we can help them to turn that around, so that next
Absolutely.
generation will see
Right.
that there's a better way.
Absolutely. It doesn't
know.
have to be this way.
Right.
Because anybody can fall on hard times.
Exactly.
But it doesn't have to be a chronic
Exactly.
a way of life.
Right. So that's one of those things that we're really working at. So that's something that we're really, really passionate about.
Yeah, certainly.
But we also do, the pantry, obviously. We have seasonal help. We help with
Okay.
back to school supplies.
Yeah.
We help with Christmas distribution. We give a Christmas food box, which is generally to make sure they have a nice Christmas meal and some
Sure.
extras. We do Christmas gifts for the children. We do clothing vouchers,
Oh, absolutely.
which ties also in with work.
Yeah, tell me a little bit more about that. So, as people you need something for an interview, you want to look
Right.
your best. So, how do you help with that?
They can make an appointment, they come in, and then we can give them a voucher to go to our thrift store.
Okay.
So, it's all based on what we have, but we
Sure.
do have some really nice things. So we have a very generous community that's been very good.
Absolutely.
And it's not limited to just interview clothing. If you need children, your children are outgrowing clothing and you can't afford it, you can come in.
Sure.
We do one of those a year.
Okay.
Again, if there's an extenuating circumstance, we can be flexible, but
Yeah.
but generally the guideline is one voucher a year.
Okay.
And we do that for the clothing. We also do it for furniture
Okay.
and household goods.
Very nice.
So if there's an issue where maybe some people are just getting out on their own, or we do a lot of vouchers like that after a fire.
Oh, I hear that a lot.
But
Yeah.
but that's not the only time we do it. We will do it like if there's been an issue or whatever. So that's all that stuff at the store. We use the sales of that to fund what we're doing, but we
Sure.
also use those items to be able to give them to people.
Well,
so.
you guys do so much, we almost ran out of time.
Oh no.
You guys are so busy and do so much. So I want to thank you, Captain Amy, for that. And is there a phone number, or do you take volunteers, or what should people do if they want
Absolutely.
to volunteer or take or need the services?
Call us. It's 989-358-2769, which is actually 358 Army.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Well, this is Captain Amy Cedarvall with the Salvation Army right here in Ampeta. Again, thank you for joining me for Insights. I'm Sherry Stewart, and thank you for watching.
Insights into Northeast Michigan is produced by WBKB News. If you have any comments, suggestions, or topics you would like to see on a future show, please email WBKB News. This has been a production of Thunder Bay Broadcasting Corporation. All rights reserved.